so encouraging, so spot on in terms of their dedication and energy and creativity to really working through the challenges that they face every day and their communities face. And it's just incredibly inspiring. So welcome to the Global Innovation Through Science and Technology, or GIST, TechEye Finals. Here we are. I'm Lisa Brody. I'm the Office Director for the Office of Science and Technology in the State Department, the Office of Science and Technology Coordination. GIST is a simple idea, but it's an important idea. When young innovators have the skills and mentoring that they need, they are more likely to take the risks that can turn their ideas into startups and ultimately into successful businesses. And the GIST initiative is committed to identifying young scientists and innovators and supporting them and helping them to achieve their dreams of success through startups, through skills development, networking, and financial advice. This is our 6th TechEye competition and the 7th Global Entrepreneurship Summit. And this is also one of our largest pools of applicants. We started out with over 1,050 applicants for the GIST TechEye competition. And with the support of the AAAS, we have whittled that down to 104 applicants that made it onto our website. And then the Globe participated in voting for the finalists, so 29 finalists that are here today. Then when they arrived on Saturday and Sunday, they got intensive training, mentoring, hints, tips, and then they gave their pitch competition was yesterday and today. So it's an incredible accomplishment. They traveled from far. They've come so far in their lives, and they're here with us today. And they are all winners. All 29 are just amazing winners. So how do we support these young innovators and entrepreneurs overseas? We have a number of programs. We have in-country programs. We also have web chats regularly on our website called Tech Connects. And we have gistnetwork.org, which is how everyone connects. So since our launch in 2011, we've trained over 5,000 startups from emerging economies all around the world. GIST has also connected millions of youth with entrepreneurship resources through the State Department's social media platforms and created online communities that link the innovators, the mentors, everyone that participates across 135 countries. We will actually have our next boot camp in Peru in August, and we'll be in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, so we get around and we really do link globally. Of course, we can't do this alone, and this year's TechEye competition was run by the American Association for the Advancement of Sciences. Very important partners for us. So thank you to AAAS for doing such a terrific job. I would love to invite Dr. Holt now to come up to the podium. Dr. Rush Holt, the Honorable Rush Holt, is the CEO of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and he's here to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa Brody. Thank you all. Thank you, the judges. Thank you, folks who coached and mentored the young entrepreneurs. AAAS, as we are known, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, has had the honor of administering the TechEye program on behalf of the U.S. Department of State for the past 3 years. And over that time, we've been delighted to see how it has grown and thrived. We believe that the challenges that face humans around the world have scientific and technological components. And there's a role for science and technology in finding solutions. At AAAS, the world's largest and premier general scientific member society, we believe that the power of curiosity and creativity can benefit communities and improve lives everywhere. And the TechEye program is a representation of that. We're proud as an organization to be involved in a program that seeks to identify and select and train and encourage exciting young scientists and engineers and technologists and healers and great minds to build businesses around the world. Lisa spoke about the mentoring. The mentoring goes on not only before the competition and during the competition, but for months afterwards. And what also goes on is the community that is built among these young entrepreneurs. The TechEye alumni hang together, and some of this year's contestants, some of this year's young entrepreneurs, were actually directly influenced by entrepreneurs from previous TechEye competitions. This is the sort of thing that the president was talking about in Cairo and since. And we're so delighted to help the U.S. Department of State carry it out. Congratulations to all of you. You are all winners. We will be watching to see you succeed, but more than that, we will be doing what we can to help you succeed.
Thank you, Dr. Holt. It is now my privilege to invite a visionary CEO, a CEO who gave up $1 million of his own salary to ensure that every one of his employees would have a minimum $70,000 salary. Please help me in greeting CEO Dan Price from Gravity Payments.
Thanks, Lisa. Thank you. Well, I'm really excited to MC today's event, and before we kick it off, I thought I'd just share a few words with you about entrepreneurship. And I have a bit of a controversial message because entrepreneurship is a bit trendy right now. Am I the only one that has noticed that? How many of you guys noticed it's a little trendy to be an entrepreneur? So what does it really mean to be an entrepreneur? Is it just something you put on Facebook so you can get a date? I would challenge you that every single one of you, whether you like it or not, can be an entrepreneur. And I would challenge you that whether you like it or not, and whether or not you're willing to admit it to yourself, each and every one of you is the CEO of your own life, and each of you is the CEO of your own career. And if you don't take that responsibility, no one else is going to. So when the CEO doesn't show up to work, bad things happen. And so what does it mean to take that responsibility seriously? I think that each of us is required to think about what's important to us. What do we care about? And about a year ago, when I realized that people that were working for me were in danger of falling into poverty, and although I could continue on without doing anything about it, I knew I had a moral imperative to act. And I knew I needed to ensure that the people who were doing blood, sweat, and tears, the entrepreneurs that were building my company, Gravity Payments, every single day, would have enough money to have a workable income and pay their bills. That was a moral imperative to me. But the way I realized that was 6 years ago, I asked myself, when is enough enough? Because, you know, as soon as you have $1 million, you're going to want $10 million. And as soon as you have $10 million, you're going to want $100 million. One of my friends who just sold this company for $100 million said to me the other day, "Oh, Dan, I need to be a billionaire because I'd be a great NFL team owner." And I said, that's a terrible thing to say. That's a terrible thing to think. But it's so common and it's so tempting. And we all get caught up in that type of thinking. So when is enough enough? And for me, I thought, is there something that's so important to me that I'm willing to do blood, sweat, and tears and give up that chase of never having enough, always wanting more? What is it that's so important to me that I'd be willing to give up everything else professionally to accomplish this one thing? And for me, I just want to be a small speck of sand in a revolution where business ceases to be about money and starts to be about solving the problems of humanity. Thank you. Now, maybe you have that same calling that I have, but maybe you have a different, more important, or a calling that's more unique to who you are and where you're at. And before we get started, I'll just leave you with this. I would love it if everybody would take a couple hours on the plane, going back to wherever you're going to, or if you're local here, a couple hours on the weekend, and ask yourself, what's important enough for me to accomplish in my career, for you to accomplish in your career, that you'd be willing to give up all your other professional ambitions to accomplish one thing. And then secondly, I'd ask you to commit to that, not compromise on it, and be completely unapologetic about going for that. Let that drive you, and let your financial success and the success of your business be a natural outcome of that. And it's a North Star that takes you away from those temptations. So I want to get into the program. I could talk to you for hours, but I have 3 minutes, and I've already exhausted all 3 of them. So I want to introduce, first of all, some past winners from this event to give us an update on how it's going, and then we'll get into the award program after. I'm going to tell you a little bit about these past winners. But the first one that I'd like you to welcome to the stage is Natalie Ardianto. Can you come up, please? Let's keep the applause going also for Alvin Chai. And last but not least, David Gluckman. And if you guys could join me, thank you. Thank you very much. Glad to have you guys back. David, welcome back.
Thanks.
All right. Well, so we have the microphone there. And if it's okay, I'm going to start with Natalie. And I first of all would just want to tell the audience when you won the program, what the program was like, and how your life has been different and how your business has been different, updates since then.
Yeah. Hello, guys. I'm Natalie Ardianto. Yeah. I won the 2012 GIZ Tech Eye in Dubai. And yeah, ever since then, we actually continue our conversation with the Department of State and the people that actually helps us. And yeah, the program still continues up until 2014. I was invited again to attend the event where I met with Alvin too. And I really, the GIZ Tech Eye actually really helps a lot, in terms of the how we think about the company and everything. Because, for instance, like us Ticket.com currently, the situation is that last year we generated a few $100 million in terms of revenue.
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and
woo, yeah.
Thank you. We actually have 270 employees so far.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're now situated in 3 cities in Jakarta, Bali, and also Yogyakarta. And yeah, and we even have we actually hire a professional CEO. He's 64 years old, and at the 2nd year of our establishment, 64 years old, and already IPO 2 of his company, because our vision is that in a few years from now we will IPO. And the preparation is actually already started since 4 years ago, where our company is already audited by the big 4.
Wow.
Yeah, and everything is, we're actually profitable, and we only have like seed fund from the beginning, so we don't raise any money at all.
Well, thank you so much. We're so excited to have you. Next, I want to turn to Alvin. If you could answer the same question, give us an update, tell us a little bit about how you've been doing.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Alvin. So I joined into the GIZ program in 2013 and got awarded the People's Choice Award. And since then, company has grown. We continue to work on our our company. We have expanded not only in operating in Malaysia, but in Southeast Asia as well, in other countries. And because at first we started as a testing platform, online testing platform, and from there, after the GIST program and the competition as well, TechEye, we also got more credibility. And when we are talking to new customers, then they'll say, "Oh wow, we have something to show as well," and it helps us to gain credibility, gain more traction, and now we have expanded our services into research and also specialized services for big corporates. So, yeah, that's what
Tell us about how that expansion has either impacted your company or your community.
So our team actually grew. When we first started off, we were 3 people, and then now we are at, about 12 people. So it has
Great.
grown, but it may seem small at first, but actually from the entrepreneur point of view, every person that you start to employ actually adds to your, the expenses that you actually have to sustain, right?
Right.
And I'm glad to say we are profitable and happy to still continue to use our seed fund, and that's great, yeah.
Alvin, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. David, same question. Yeah, thank you.
So I'm David from Lumkani, if anyone didn't get the memo, and we won the TechEye competition in 2014 in Marrakesh, so just under 2 years ago. And what's interesting is that before, literally a week after I would get back from Morocco, we would then actually put the product out there for the first time. It's for anyone who doesn't know, it's fire detection built for informal settlements or slums to address the fire challenge that displaces hundreds of thousands of people globally in emerging markets specifically. So we launched that product 2 weeks later, and now we're in 7,000 households. And we've fleshed out a ton of our technology. We've launched version 2 of our product, which is even better than previously. We've invested a lot in our GPS tracking and our customer tracking, a lot in our software and backend. But I suppose the biggest development to date is something that is a little bit unexpected, but probably the biggest opportunity for us is that we're launching literally. Also, it's so funny how TechEye is just going to be the crescent moon before great things happen, which is great. I mean, I'll just keep coming every year. We're partnered with an insurance company. So now from what we were, which is traditionally a technology company which mitigates the risk of fire for, hopefully in time, billions of people, we now also provide household insurance against fire, so that in the incidence of fire, you will now be paid out the next day, which will return you to your state of being as if there was no fire. And that wouldn't have been possible without the technology, because it's an opportunity to mitigate the risk for the insurer. It's an opportunity to write somewhere data-wise that this fire even existed, so that minimizes fraud completely. So these were interesting things that we always dreamed about from a financial services and a financial access perspective, but we wouldn't have otherwise got there if we didn't build the tech. So we're glad we did that first, and it hasn't been a complete waste of time. In fact, it was critical to do. So that's a really, really important thing. And that is something that we're going to be rolling out to a few thousand households in the coming weeks even.
And David, staying with you for a second, can you tell us about how that growth and how that innovation and technology has either impacted the community so far or impacted your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, within 2 weeks of the deployment of our first piece of technology, we detected a fire, and we were just like, the system's malfunctioned. Why has this happened? And we get SMSs, we get live alerts the moment there's any trigger in our system. And literally the first alert we received through the system was midday on a Friday, 9th of December, and it was like, there's been a fire, and it was actually a confirmed fire. And we've detected about 50 fires, which would have been really significant fires in the last 18 months. which is always wonderful. You know, that's how we can track our performance. We can measure the impact. So we've got this data written on servers that says there were fires, and then we've got this human narrative that says, if this wasn't here, the counterfactual is
Right.
X many thousands of people displaced. So that's really, I think that's the reason for being, right? I mean, that's the real validation. Somebody can buy into your product, but until such time as it functions to the specifications to which it was promised, I mean, what are you working with? So we're pretty happy about that.
So I want to stay with you, and then we'll come back this way. But one more question for you, David. And with all three of you, what I'd like to do, so we kind of talked about you winning the award, what's happened since then. But I want to talk about two more things. One is, what made you interested in getting started? Where did that initial idea come from? I think a lot of people out here have ideas. They're interested in getting them off the ground. And then we'll go through and speak to each of you. And then I want to talk about the future. You know, what's your vision for the future? Where do you want to be 5, 10, 15, or maybe even 40 years down the road? So, David, where did that initial spark come from? And then how did you turn it into something that you could get off the ground?
Right. So the initial spark wasn't with me. I was involved right in the beginning, but I wasn't the original engineer. I'm not an engineer. I'm actually an economist. That's my training. So my close friends were working on the rudimentary underpinnings of the technology. And at the time, I decided to take a break from my corporate life with the intention of becoming an entrepreneur, whatever that trendy thing is. And I knew I always wanted to be involved with something that, I mean, I'd come from a place where you generate profit, but with very little impact on pretty much any way whatsoever, except for some remote and ambiguous shareholder.
Part of the machine.
Exactly. So I was glad to move out of that space and then stumble across this, which my very good friends were working on, which thought, I had skills that could fit. I have implementing ability. I have interest. I have drive. I can pull this together. I can find us funding. I can do all these wonderful things. So it was a good fit, and that's kind of the inception. I bought into the vision 100%. I saw the need. I realized that this is a beautiful intersection of business that can be really harnessed to launch technology that can make a significant impact globally. And I thought, let's do this. This is like a no-brainer.
That's great.
Do you want me to talk about the future now? Or?
No, we'll come back to it. But that's really cool. And we'll go to Alvin now. But it's really cool how you were willing to see how you could jump in and have an impact on somebody else's idea, which I think is a very undervalued part of entrepreneurship. Very, very undervalued. Without somebody willing to do that, you know, nothing happens. So I think that's really great. Alvin, how about you? What was that initial spark, and then how did you get it off the ground?
I didn't like working in a corporate.
You didn't like your boss, or what?
No, I was just doing a corporate work. I was doing law, but
Did you feel like you weren't having an impact, or you weren't able to follow and fully express your values? What was it?
yeah. Well, the thing is, I when I was working, it feels very limited, the things that I can do, because there's always a structure that we need to follow.
Right.
And then from then on, I actually started to explore other opportunities that's around me. And it so happened, I do have a lot of interest in the usability of things, and especially on website usability, because I was looking at a lot of websites that in our country is really hard to use. But the owners don't really know why or how to make it better. Or maybe they don't even realize that the website is actually hard to use by the user. That's when we started to toy with the idea of doing user testing, but doing it online, and create the feedback, or collect the feedback for the businesses, so that they can actually see how users use the website and realize actually it's not so easy to navigate. So to help them make it better. And from there, since we have been working on it, we found the impact actually is not only in business. The higher impact of our work is actually in the government sector, because now we are heavily involved in government online services that needs to be redesigned or to design to be user-friendly for the citizens.
Yeah.
And the citizens come in all shape and sizes, from the senior to the juniors or disabled user as well. So usability becomes a really key point, and a lot of our work now goes focus on this area, and I'm glad that our government as well see the value, and now we start to work on it now.
Were you scared to leave your successful corporate job and give up all of that, stability and go out and go on your own? And what pushed you over the edge? How did you have the confidence to do that?
I just look at my colleague or even my seniors, and I ask myself whether I wanted to do what they did, like they were doing for the next 5 years. The answer came to me as no. So I was like, okay, so I need to do something else then. So then I think, yes, it's scary, definitely scary, because I took a pay cut, right? And I didn't pay myself for at the start of my venture. Even my parents will not tell the relatives, like, the relatives ask, oh, what's your son doing? Oh, they'll be like, he's still working in an old job, So it's that sort of like, I come from Asia, so Malaysia and Asian parents sometimes they feel like they are not sure why their kids are actually doing entrepreneurship, and they are not sure whether they should tell people because they have nothing to show. I'm glad that after 2 years, then we were going back to the hometown and for festival celebration.
Right.
And relatives started to ask my parents, "What did your son do?" I thought, "Oh, he's running on his own company now."
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
Well, and we'll move on to Natalie, but what's really great is, the United States is not considered a high context culture. People kind of go out and do different things, but there are many cultures out there where context matters a lot. And I think it's in some of those cultures, it's more difficult to take those steps. But I think that if any of you are in one of those cultures like Alvin is, I think that it's so important because all of a sudden you're an example where there are fewer examples. Does that make sense? And so that's really, really cool that you are willing to do it in a culture where, the context matters and sometimes people don't step out and start things on their own. So that's really, really cool. So appreciate that. Natalie, what about you? What was that spark that started you, and how did you come up with that initial idea, and how did you get it off the ground?
Yeah, so I'm interested to becoming an entrepreneur when I was in 5th grade in elementary school, because I saw a TV where somebody create animations and he works at home. So since then, I always develop my skill and I hoping to become an entrepreneur. So I was working in a company for like 4 years, and after that, I started to create companies. And actually, Ticket.com is my 3rd company. Yeah, the first one is acquired. The second one didn't go so well, and the 3rd time is the charm. Yeah, and in terms of the idea, the good thing about
the first one was the one that failed the most.
No, the first one is actually acquired.
Was acquired. So you had a successful outcome on the first one.
Yeah. The second one is a online golf booking. So the investor is from Japan because 70% of golf booking is done online. But in Indonesia, there's no golf booking. So we try to bring it back to Indonesia, but what happened is that the golfer in Indonesia actually called the caddy rather than book online. Much more fun. Hi, I want to book. Oh yes, okay. Things like that.
After the second one though didn't go well, and you're going to the third one, did that give you more confidence in the third one that you could absorb that blow, or were you thinking, wow, I just failed and maybe I'm a one-hit wonder and I should just give up? What was that like?
Well, to be honest with you, after the second company, I actually doesn't have a real job in the next 6 months. So when I met with my friends, and I said to them that I don't want to code if there's no money. So what we did was myself actually create the presentation and create a financial plan. And I was actually the CTO, not the CEO. So yeah, after 6 months, meeting to a lot of more than a dozen investors, we get the funding. And then I always say to all the investors that if we get fund in 3 months, we will go live.
Yeah.
And that's the experience. Why? Because my first company actually went live after 13 months. The second one, 8 months, and yeah, the third one is 3 months.
Right.
Yeah, that experience actually helps me accelerate the development of the product itself. Yeah, and the good thing about developing country is that, you know, we just have to copy anything that United States is several 10 years ago. So I was actually copying Jeff's Priceline with Agoda and Booking and Kayak. So yeah, we're hoping
Kudos,
that,
Jeff.
yeah, and already IPO. So that's why our plan is actually exactly the same as how, you know, Jeff did it.
Did his check get lost in the
A
mail?
year ago, yeah. So, yeah, he's my inspirations, and yeah, now what we did is, yeah, just to, you know, like replicate and, yeah, but localize, yeah. So yesterday, just this morning, yeah, local, global, local.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, so we make it locally,
Yeah.
and yeah, for instance, like in the United States, maybe people are using credit cards, right?
Right.
But in Indonesia, we have like, in Ticket.com, we have like 15 methods of payments. Yeah, so, you know, like you can't do, you know, American, if they try to enter Indonesian market, it's really hard because they only have just one credit card, which is like only 15 million people have credit cards.
Right.
With 250 million populations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we know the situation. We're also focusing on quality of the services as well, because people tend to compare prices. We're not trying to do some kind of a subsidy and everything. That's why we're profitable, because, you know, like we don't spend, you know, I always like this, you spend more to get less. And I think that's silly, the trend of, you know, like getting investment over investment. You know, even like in Jakarta, we have companies that already reached Series D and E.
Right.
Yeah, and although we're in seed fund, we're actually number 3 in terms of the value of the company.
Wow, that's really impressive. So we'll stay with you for a second, Natalie, and we'll come back again. And I want to go to the future now. What's your vision for the future? And as far off as you can think, if you can do 40 years, that's great. If you can do 2 years. But what do you want to see happen? And you heard my bias. What to you is more important than money in terms of what you want to see happen and what you want to accomplish in your life? Because each of you are in a remarkably powerful position to shape the world, shape your community, shape a lot of things. And what's your intentionality in terms of how you want to use that power, what you want to see happen?
Yeah, so for Ticket.com, we don't really like to call ourselves startups anymore right now. So we're very, very corporate. In the beginning, we already have chief legal officers from the beginning up until now. Even like up until now, we already been in a lawsuit twice. So the legal itself is very, very important.
But let me try it this way. If you were going to go forward 20 years from now and look back on the last 20 years, what would you like to have changed about the world or accomplished that would make you really proud?
Yeah, so we believe that we want to create an example, because people nowadays, you know, like try to do some kind of a, you know, like if we get new series of fundings,
Yeah.
they think that it's awesome. But we think that, yeah, it's a liability, right? Because we have to prove it to the investors that we can use the money and grow it.
In other words, business isn't about raising money and
Yes.
attracting investors. It's about helping your clients and growing your business that
growing
way.
your business.
Yeah.
Because, getting back to the corporate itself, the reason why we're doing corporate, because we believe that corporate companies can live like hundreds of years, right? Startups, you know, on average, maybe like 8 years. Why? Because their final journey is actually exits.
Yeah.
We never want to do some kind of an exit, because the reason why we do corporate is that the website itself, the mobile apps itself, we call it media.
Yeah.
It's a tools for us to connect to the clients, to the users.
Right.
Yeah, but the corporate itself is the fundamental, because, you know, like technology and everything changes a lot. But the corporate, if you're strong in terms of financial, you know, like the 3G, 4G, SSDPA, the technology changes. But if the company doesn't have a very strong corporate, you cannot keep up and you've gone bankrupt, because nobody uses 3G anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So That's why we design a very, very strong corporate. We even at the first 4 years have more finance people than the IT guy. Yeah, that's how we're focusing on the corporate itself. And yeah, we're seeing ourselves, 10, 20 years, we'll be still here, here in the same old, the same business, the same thing, and we will never, think of exits.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Next, I want to go to Alvin. Same question.
Yeah, okay. It's something similar. I'm not at the IPO stage at all, right? But it's something similar to where we want to keep on investing on our people. Why I say so is because when we started early on, we were doing testing, but a lot of our customers was telling us, Alvin, you're giving me a lot of testing results, but you're not giving me solutions. So then we started to listen to our customers and we started providing them. But providing solution will require a lot of people, expertise. So we started to hire those people. But the thing is, to keep good talent, we need to create a good culture. We need to continue to invest in them. So we're working very hard. Actually, this is one of the biggest challenge right now. Me and my co-founders are thinking about every day how to create a conducive culture for the digital workforce, a digital knowledge worker, and keep them productive and keep investing in them. Because our mission is really everyone is digitizing human services. Because trying to make something laborious to become digitized and then easier, automating. But we are trying to humanize digital services, because if it's not easy to use, it's very hard. But those things require a lot of attention, a lot of research, testing, and analysis to make a website easy to use, or even the app easy to use. So that is what we are focusing on, to continue to invest on our people. We also make sure that our people do not just work and burn out, because it's important that we have for them to focus on their work, but they also have good rest. And we plan to just build a company to build a company to the level where we can deliver bigger projects, working with bigger clients for the foreseeable 10 years to come, and we are not thinking about exits. We are thinking about making the company as a strong consulting company as well. So hopefully in a Big Four, that's our level in the future, and that's where we are heading.
Yeah, thank you. Great answer. Appreciate it.
So the future we kind of see, so we're a company that is responsible for, our vision is resilience, right? So human resilience, community resilience. How do we, like a spring that you can bend back and let go, there's a definite disturbance, but when it returns, it's pretty much the same shape.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we visualize, that's the vision we have for mega cities, which we already see in India, in parts of South Africa and South America, and South America. So we're going to see disturbances becoming increasingly more drastic, be it climate change, be it just the fact that we just have far too many people living in far too small space. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see disturbances being far more costly on society, on families, on individuals, on governments, and on whole countries. You see it in the United States already. Hurricane Katrina was pretty massive, and then there's a natural phenomenon, and then there's man-made phenomena. So that's really like a kind of broad vision. But where we specifically see, if we can zoom into where we see ourselves in 20 years, is using sensor technology to ensure that cities are a lot smarter and they work smarter for the people who live in it. Yep. And in emerging countries, that's both the rich, the very rich, and the very poor. And we really see that is a mechanism for really good service delivery, right? You don't need to. Governments of old can invest hundreds of millions of billions of US dollars in really fancy Uber-like emergency services deployment, right? That's very much a response side. emerging economies do not have that luxury. We need to be on the
Right.
risk reduction side.
Yeah.
And how can we invest in really inexpensive technology that senses for things long before a human can and alert people long before anyone else can? And in that way, we increase resilience.
I love practical solutions that are made for people. There's over 7 billion people on Earth, right? But a lot of the products that a lot of the businesses make are only targeting 1 billion of those people. So it's so great to see an entrepreneur who's really trying to look out for everybody. So that's really cool. Well, we're the pre-show. We could sit up here and talk forever, but our time is done. And so I'm sure you guys are all excited to hear about the award winners. I want to welcome up a past award winner, Nermeen Saad, and she is going to be presenting the prizes and the main event. So please welcome her.
Thank you.
Nice work.
Excellent.
Thank you. And use the mic over.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. It was my pleasure to be one of the jesters since 2013. I have traveled with Jest from the Far East in Malaysia and here in the Far West in California. And in between, it was Jordan, Amman, Nairobi, Kenya, Washington, Chicago. And it was really, really rich and full of information, informative journey. And I wish that you all have the same journey as I, because I always consider myself as one of the luckiest jesters. So I would like to give a very big thank you for all our judges. I would love to stand up if you please. I'm one of them. And I was lucky to join them and learn from them and cooperate with them. They really did a very amazing job. So I would like to invite Lisa Brudet, and Director of the U.S. Department of State's Office of Science and Technology Cooperation, and Rush Hood, CEO of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, to the stage to begin the presentation of this year's JustTechEye Awards. Please come to stage. We will begin with the announcement of the JustTechEye People's Choice Award. These prizes will be given to the Idea Stage finalist and the Startup Stage finalist, whose pitch received the most votes from summit attendees. The winners of this award will each receive $2,000 in seed capital prizes. The winner of the Idea Stage People's Choice Award is Maher Maymoon from Jordan. With his Solar Piezo Clean idea. Solar Piezo Clean is a waterless self-cleaning technology for PV solar panels that will increase the energy generated by solar power farms in dusty locations. Good job. Viva Jordanian. Well, the winner of the Startup Stage People's Choice Award is Charity Wanjiko from Kenya. With her startup Strauss Energy. Strauss Energy's 2-in-1 solar cell roofing tile reduces power bills and installation costs while generating passive income from the sale of extra electricity back to the grid. Clap for her. Good job. The rest of this year's award will be bestowed to finalists based on scores from the 2016 JustTechI pitching judges. We will begin with the Science and Technology Award, which recognizes the entrepreneur who has developed a product or service with exceptional technical merit and innovation. The winner of this year will receive a $3,000 seed capital prize. The recipient of the 2016 JustTechI Science and Technology Award is Viva Jordanian, Maher Maimoun from Jordan, with his solar piezo clean. We should keep him here. Yes, you should keep him here. My pleasure. Next, the Outstanding Female Entrepreneur Award recognizes the unique challenges that female entrepreneurs face in the startup community. This prize rewards the female finalist with the highest pitching score with $5,000 in seed capital. The winner of this year's Outstanding Female Entrepreneur Award is Samina Sarwat from Bangladesh. With her Asta Purifier idea. Asta Purifier is a cost-effective, rich rice husk water filter designed to tackle the problem of arsenic contamination of drinking water. No, from here. Thank you. Spirit of TechEye. The winner of this 1,500 prize is selected by fellow finalists as an individual who best optimized TechEye by being open to learning, adapting, and giving back to the community. The winner of this year's Spirit of TechEye Award is Amr Hussein from Egypt, with his startup, Kosh Comics. Now, we will begin the announcement of the 2016 overall awards. JustTechEye distinguished entrepreneurs in two stages. The idea stage includes innovators with early-stage projects, and the startup stage includes entrepreneurs with more advanced ventures. Within both stages, the 2016 Honorable Mention Award winner will receive $2,000 in seed capital. Third place will receive $3,000 prize. Second place will receive $7,500, and the first place will be awarded $15,000 in seed capital. We will start with the 2016 Idea Stage Award winners. The winner of the Honorable Mention Idea Stage Award is Nina Okayai from Nigeria with her Rest Spot. Well, ResSpot is a mobile app and wearable device that uses GPS, private security partners, and crowdsourcing to send immediate emergency assistance and alerts. Good job. The winner of the third place Idea Stage Award is Laith Hamad from Jordan. Viva! With his Clef G idea. Clef G is a tracking, safety, and auto-refill smart device for gas cylinders. Good job. The winner of the second place Idea Stage Award is, again, Maher Maymoon from Jordan with his solar piezo clean. I told you you should keep him here.
No, I know.
Good job. And now, the winner of the 2016 Just Tekai Idea Stage First Place Award and recipient of $15,000 in seed capital is Viva Bangladesh, Samina Sarawat. With her Asta purifying idea. She's gonna cry. Now, for the 2016 Just Tekai Startup Stage Award winners. The winner of the Honorable Mention Startup Stage Award is Samid Razak from Bangladesh with his startup 10-minute school. Viva Bangladesh. 10-Minute School is the first platform in Bangladesh through which students can take practice exams, compare themselves with peers, and monitor their progress. Good job. The third place Startup Stage Award winner is Muhammad Waqas from Pakistan with his startup Wonder Tree. Wonder Tree offers educational and therapy games that use augmented reality to help children with special needs develop motor, cognitive, and functional skills. Good job. The second place Startup Stage Award winner is Jackie Yap from Malaysia with his startup Hi-G. Well, Hi-G Energy sells affordable biomass cooking as a healthier, less environmentally destructive alternative to burning firewood. Congratulations. And now, one of the best startups and idea that we all, I believe, heard about. The winner of the 2016 Just Tekai Startup Stage First Place Award and $15,000 in seed capital is Hoang Down from Vietnam with his startup Monkey Jr. The Monkey Junior app teaches young children to read in multiple languages using a comprehensive curriculum with thousands of lessons. Good job. Congratulations to all the 2016 Just Tekai finalists. This has been the largest, most competitive season of Just Tekai yet, and we cannot wait to see your projects come over and over, upwards and onwards. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to hog the floor again for a few seconds. None of this would have been possible without our judges and mentors. Maybe we can have the judges stand up and give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the participants. Thank you, obviously, to the entrepreneurs, to this wonderful cohort, the 29 for 2016. And thank you to Dan Price. We will be going on to the reception, and Dan has said he will be available to chat, and that will be great. And I would like all the winners back on stage for some photos. Thanks so much to everybody. Take care.